Warning, this podcast contains spoilers. Hi, everybody, and welcome back this week to Riverdale Season 2, Episode 3, Chapter 16, The Watcher in the Woods. Tonight, it's just me and Kim. Hi, Kim. So, what did you think about this episode?
It was interesting. I like it. Um, I haven't decided whether what Betty did was a good thing or a bad thing. Um, his little dream sequence, I was like, oh my god, and then I was like, okay, it was a dream. I was like, he's gonna have more screen time, and then he's gonna die. What?
Yeah, I know. I was like, that can't be, no, this can't be happening, because it was just like, it kind of brought me back to one of the previous shows we just did, and it was like, it was a dream, and then it wasn't a dream, and I was like, oh, thank God, because this was the same kind of thing.
Supernatural.
Yeah,
The premonition.
yeah. So like, there was the stab, and I was just like, oh, because like you did say, like they said they were gonna give him more screen time throughout the whole season. So like at that point, that wasn't sitting in my head. It was just like, oh no,
Just a
Kevin
stab.
got
Ugh.
stabbed. So now, is that just him having an intuition, or are we gonna like lead to believe that Kevin has something supernatural about him? Maybe he is part psychic or something. Maybe he is a psychic. Because we know
It
that
could go that direction.
yeah, one sec. Thirsty.
Because
Um,
he walks up and it's like he's there, and then all of a sudden,
yep.
was it a premonition or was it just his brain that we were seeing what he was thinking?
I we know he was going there for these kinds of interactions with I'm sorry, with people. He wanted the connection even though it was random and, not exactly safe. So, um, sorry, one sec. I'm just gonna mute myself because I'm gonna die. It's just one thing after another. Um, yeah, what? Hmm.
We're talking about Kevin.
Yes, Kevin. Um, it's just that particular scene. It just because how could he have known? And then I don't know.
I I don't know. It definitely could have played out like it was just he was thinking of what Betty said, and
Maybe.
it was like, well, you know what? I'm just not gonna get in this car with this strange man, who is not showing his eyes. He's all like downcasted, and I'm like,
You only see like from his chin to like the brim of his hat with the shadow. And when he had his face to the side, I was like, wait, is that John Cena? Because he kind of looked like John Cena to me. And I was like,
isn't
da
both? Yeah.
da da da. But
Oh my god.
um, he did walk away very fast. Like, I was almost expecting the guy to get out after he walked away because he's like, "Get in here, you little fucking tease." It's like, excuse me, what? Like
Yeah.
that was really scary. I don't know, but I'm like,
But I'm trying to figure out what Kevin's. I'm like, is he uh being a hooker in the woods?
I don't know. Like the way that between Betty and Cheryl and Kevin, what he was doing in Fox Forest was, it seems to be the place where people go for
It's the
random
hookup place.
hookups because, we know he already said in the episode that he doesn't want an app because nobody on the internet is themselves. So I don't know how that's any different than just running, night jogging through the woods. Um, and you know, just randomly hooking up with a guy behind a tree. I, I don't see how that's any different. You're not making a connection with this person. You're not getting to know them. It's just like using a dating app at this point.
Pretty much. I mean, you're using a woods app. Not an app.
Well, like the first
uh,
the first night jogging scene, it was like they passed each other and they just looked, and then all of a sudden they're up against a tree, and it's like, Kevin, what are you doing? So
it's like, do they like? Is it written somewhere? Like that's yeah.
I feel like it's like, in those old, I mean, it is kind of like you see them using like our tech phones right now, but it's supposed to be kind of like a 1950s era where like
It's this
Riverdale.
concept, and then it's a mix. It's kind of got like this
Yeah.
whoa bearded weird thing.
Um, so I don't know, maybe it's like, the Lover's Point where, people
Look,
park up there and you know that everybody goes up there to hook up. Maybe that's what Fox Forest is for Riverdale.
well, they did say Lovers Lane or something or other.
Yeah,
So that that's obviously in the same woods. So I guess it's all
I
coexisting.
guess.
It's the yeah it's the hookup point.
Hmm. But as far as like Kevin, he was really sassy. Like, to be fair, Betty was up in his grill and she you can be concerned, but you can't push people like that because they did kind of go into his background a little bit. Cheryl said before now, Kevin was, an overweight, unpopular kid. Nobody liked him. He was awkward. And now she said he was like a buff magnet or something. Is that, do you, what's,
Sorry, my computer is doing whackness, so
uh,
I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Okay.
maybe it's contagious. Maybe my computer decided to pass it on. Um, but yeah,
Um,
yeah. So there's a little bit of background to saying like, he still feels like he is that person and he needs the acceptance and confirmation from others to feel good about himself.
I get it like 100% because you don't. I mean, I'm overweight, so I'm a big girl, so I understand the whole concept of when someone starts complimenting you, you kind of go, what? You're like, oh, you're talking about me? Okay, sure, yeah. So it's that you change and you get better, and I wouldn't call it get better. It's not get better. It's you start taking care of yourself differently.
Mhm.
Um, but even though you change your outside, doesn't mean you change your inside.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's exactly what's happening with Kevin here. I think, even though Cheryl is crazy and whatever, she had the right idea. She's very observant. Maybe it is because she's got her nose in everybody else's life, but she tells Betty straight up what's wrong. And I know Betty is trying to help, but I feel like she pushed him further because we do see at the end he doesn't want to have anything to do with Betty. He's done
Well,
with her.
she went behind his back and went to his dad,
That's
so that's
true.
a little much. But sometimes if you don't have your own safety in mind,
Hmm.
your friends sometimes are gonna go out of their way to make sure that something is gonna happen. So this
She
is where that
wasn't,
whole
yeah.
is Betty in the right or is she not in the right?
I
Yeah,
feel
she went behind his
like,
back, but at the same
yeah.
time, maybe it needed to be done.
Yeah, I feel like Betty did the right thing by going to his dad. Yeah, Kevin's gonna have issues with that, but I think he sees it now. He sees the danger in what he was doing. I don't think he's gonna go back.
He's gonna be upset for a little while.
Hmm.
Um, it'll dawn on him that she did the right thing in the end. Just right now, it's
Yeah,
sore.
yeah. It feels like he was betrayed, definitely.
Right.
The other cool thing about Kevin this episode was the whole thing with saving Midge and Moose. Yeah, Moose. Um, he apparently when because this happened at the end of last episode, it was kind of like the very first scene when we see Kevin smooching with this guy, this rando guy, he hears the gunshots. He goes and saves Midge and Moose. We find out that Moose played human shield for Midge, took all of the bullets, and is in the hospital. So I like how he explained to everybody that Midge was full on Carrie with all of Moose's blood and stuff. But then, as the episode went on, Kevin, you see Kevin and Moose bond. Like he goes to visit
Well,
Moose,
remember
and
they were
they
hooking
were
up.
they were a thing in season 1. So they do already have a connection, but Moose is obviously, he likes Midge, and he just doesn't, so he's like, sometimes I don't see the connection. But I mean, to be fair, she doesn't seem very like, you always expect the jock and the cheerleaders to be together, and she doesn't seem like a cheerleader at all.
Well, when she was the one that was getting the drugs and stuff, so
Yeah,
I'm thinking she's just. Of course, that apparently that's this drug is the thing right now.
the jingle jangle,
Jingle jangle,
fascinating, says Jughead.
pixie stick.
So I feel like Kevin and Moose should actually do more together. I want to see them do more together, not so much as a couple, but like as friends, because this is obviously going to be an eye opener to Moose as well. So I think we're going to be seeing much more of him, especially when it comes to Archie's bullshit that he's doing with the red circle. Like, come
Though the way that scene made it play out, sorry, I'm an
on.
itch, was that Moose sounds like he's a little confused whether he wants to be with, because it
Mitch.
sounded like yeah,
Yeah.
like he wanted to, because he was implying that he wanted to hook up again,
I yeah.
and at least that's the way it came off to me, and I think that's why Kevin got a little hurt by it, and why he was kind of looked like he was hurt during the conversation in general.
He seemed confused too, though.
The face I got there at the end was hurt. At least that's what I.
I mean,
Because it's kind of like, okay, so you want to be my booty call?
I don't. I think Moose was being sincere when he's like, if you need somebody to talk to and come hang out with, I'm here. I think he was very sincere when he said that. I don't know if he meant anything more by it. Maybe um in the middle of the conversation, there was a little bit more of implication, but uh, I don't know. I feel like this is something they need to work on. Like, I feel like the writer should take this somewhere because we do need to. I feel like the Archie and the whole army thing just needs to just go away, and we need more, build up with the characters that, are supporting the rest of the show. The stuff with Ronnie and her dad too, though, like that's bothering me. It's, I don't know.
I want to know what the heck Harem is up to. Because he's obviously manipulating Archie.
Uh-huh.
So what is he manipulating Archie exactly to do? Like, what does it benefit him?
I think it's a huge cover for whatever he's doing in the background. He's making it like so, like, because obviously the sheriff does not want Archie doing what he's doing. The mayor does not want Archie doing what he's doing. Um, his dad doesn't like, so like, they're trying to I think Hiram's trying to get everybody to focus on what Archie's doing wrong, and then he can continue to do all his whatever he's doing in the background because we know he has ties with the serpents. He's buying up all the property, so he's got an operation going, and it's coming to Riverdale, and it's gonna be crazy. I think like high end drugs or something because Jingle Jingle Jangle came out of nowhere.
It did, didn't it?
Hmm. Well, we know that the ghoulies from Southside are dealing it, but where are they getting it from?
Now we have all these gangs
Yeah.
that came out of this episode. How many gangs do they name? At least.
Well, I mean, if you count the Red Circle, that's another gang kind of thing because you saw them. They made that freaking like threatening
without
video
shirts.
and
They all had
the
their shirts off and
and they
everything.
all had fucking hoods on and everything too. So it's like, Archie, that's pretty much a gang. You got the ghoulies, you got the serpents. There was a couple other ones that they listed too, right?
They're putting them as like vigilante is what
Mhm.
he's trying to.
Yeah.
But the ones I remember are obviously the two main over
Mhm.
there in Southside. So that's.
It's just,
Do you got something going on over? Do you?
no, I thought somebody was waving at me over there to be, but no, it's fine. I-
You're just crazy
Why does Southside High look more like a prison?
because
Be
it's on the bad side of town.
Yeah, if there's a lot of schools that have security systems like that because of higher crime areas, um, just because, kids do bring knives to school and guns and things that can be used as weapons, and so it's security. uh, Basically, they just want to make sure nobody gets harmed. Um, and I can attest that my high school that I went to was supposed to be a prison. They the the windows are literally this thin. You can't get your hand, you can barely get your hand through them, and they're all wire mesh and like there's bars, and it was supposed to be a prison. But they, you know, renovated some of it and put some nice walls and windows and stuff, but all the classrooms have really thin windows, and it's brick and just like cement flooring, and it's very very like it's not a good feeling, but um
My school was all open and stuff, but I made a park next door. But that's where everybody went to the park next door and smoked weed. But they had nicknames for like our schools.
mhm.
I can't remember if it was our high school or it was our junior high. So junior high school, or junior high was actually the main feeder into my high school. I can't remember I can't remember if it was the high school that was called it or the junior high that was called it. We called it the Crystal Palace.
For obvious reasons, probably. Yep. Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
I guess they're really touching on something when it comes to diversity within even small neighborhoods, because I don't think Riverdale's that big.
no, it sounds like it's a small town.
If
It's like a
Yeah,
collective of like small towns that are
yeah,
fairly close together.
yeah. So like, just to know that just like across a bridge or across even a railroad, because that's how my town worked. It was a railroad where you could make that definite diversity check. I think that's what they're just trying to play that off of. Like even even in a iconic movie like Grease, there was that line where, there was two rivaling, like there was two different high schools and they did not like each other because of the way things were just broken up, just the way this neighborhood developed and this neighborhood developed. So we're seeing a lot more of that obviously this season because Jughead is now going to high school at Southside. So,
Well, you're having the nice. Well, they're completely comparing is this is the nice side of town and this is the bad side of town. So they're trying to make this huge difference of making it literally see here are where all the gangs are. This is all the bad part of town, and this is the nice fluffy side of the town.
mhm. I mean, I don't know why Hiram wants to. I mean, maybe it is the drugs, and that's maybe he is kind of connected because we did talk about a lot of the connections on last episode when it came to JP, FP, with him being in prison, and then we had Penny, and we had all of that, and we thought, well, maybe he's involved, maybe Hiram's involved in part of that as well. So I don't know. He's just, I don't like him. He's shady, but what do you, he's way more interesting than Hermione. I don't like her at all. She got terrible this season. Like we are all like last season, oh, she's a great mom, I think she's the best mom on the show. She's the best parent, and then this happens. Hiram comes back and she's loyal puppy dog and she's like
she
threatening.
is, but then she tells. uh, Veronica to be careful.
Yeah,
And then he hears her. Oh my god! I was like, dun dun dun.
yeah. He's like, guess what? The walls are thin. And she's
Yeah, he
like,
was totally blunt about that. He was just like, I heard
well,
you, bitch.
the thing was, like, he's zipping up her dress as he's threatening her with non-threatening words, but you knew that she was like, "Oh God, he might have a knife to my back right now. Like, I'm so close to being dead." And then all of a sudden, he's like, "Oh, you look nice," and he walks away. So it's like, whoa, this guy knows. He's one of those serial killers that he's a mentalist kind of
Serial
thing.
serial.
Yeah.
I mean, she literally was like, you might want to mess up your relationship with her daughter, but I ain't. Just cut your shit.
Mhm. But to be fair though, like Ronnie Veronica was just so against Hiram for the longest time, and then she's like, "Nah, he can change. He's changing. He's back. He's out of jail. Everything's fine." And that's not the case. She's really letting down her wall with Hiram when she should be just as suspicious as she was before, but playing it off and acting like daddy's little princess again. I don't know if maybe she is playing. Maybe that is a ploy and it's all for everyone to see, even us. So when it actually happens, there's like a twist and she's like, "Guess what, daddy?"
I honestly think she's nosy. I think she's nosy. I think she just wants to know what's going on.
Well, she did say she wants to be part of the business now, and that is a way for her to get her nose in there to see what the heck's really going on. Because there's no way her dad could hide dirty dealings if that's his forefront.
And I can see that she's trying to get in there to figure out whether if he's doing something bad
Hmm.
because that's what she's worried about.
Yeah.
And I think that's why she was worried when he took Archie into his study. And there's a little bit of jealousy there too.
There was, and well, let's be fair, Hermione kind of, she kind of planted the rest of like maybe she was slightly jealous for a minute, like or a little bit suspicious, but then Hermione's like, "Guess what? Daddy's little girl can't go into the pretty little room because, you're arm's length and all this jazz." So Hermione really did set that in her brain.
Oh, yeah.
But that whole like awkward dinner thing, can we get away from the awkward dinners? There's literally have has been one like almost every freaking episode ever.
That's their favorite thing.
It must be. It's like their token kind of thing to put into an episode, but like it was it was awkward because, Archie's trying to be all prim and proper. He's trying not to push Hiram's buttons. And then, he's like, "Well, let's go talk privately." And everybody's just like, "Okay." And then he's like, "Here, have some rum. Let's get you drunk."
Yeah, I was like,
Here,
and
have some
they
rum.
and they all went with it. They're like, yeah.
Yeah, it's okay, Archie. Have some rum. I'll take you into my little den. I'm going to threaten you that I'm going to hurt you if you hurt my daughter and all the list of things.
Well,
And
that's a
then
dad thing. That's what they're supposed to do.
that's a dead thing. And then he turns it around to go, "Oh yeah, here's an idea for your army." Dun, 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 dun. Like it was the weirdest like sequence of events a person like in a conversation that could happen. Like I don't even know if Archie understands what was going on.
I don't know. I understand what's going on
I, that's
because
true. Like,
he's up to something,
oh
but what
yeah,
he's up to is the question.
yeah.
Especially with that end scene, that like creepy villain like smile as his chair turns around. Like that was like the epitome
He was
of
like
like
he was like Mr.
cartoon
Burns
villain.
in The Simpsons. Like excellent.
I mean, he seriously was just like sitting there, just like big old smile, then.
I I don't know. I can't even with Hiram right now. I don't know if I hate his character, but it's just like I maybe he's just interesting because he really is mysterious all around. And the fact that Archie's eating out of his hand, which is it's like even after his dad told him, you know, don't trust anything this guy does or tells you. I mean, he's not gonna follow his own dad, like Your dad's advice is probably the best right now. He's the most grounded because he just went through a life-threatening experience. I don't know. And the fact that Archie goes to him is like, Dad, I think we should get a gun. You already have a gun, Archie. What are you doing? What are you doing? I kind
As
of know what you're doing, but Daddy's gonna tell you no. You know this, but you
he's
already
just
have a
trying to get
gun.
the okay for something he already did.
I guess so. That's an ass backwards way to do it, but I think I kind of remember trying to do something similar with my parents when I was younger.
I think all kids do.
But like we do get confirmation that Black Hood, I mean we knew it. It's Black Hood who shot Fred, who killed Grundy, and shot Moose, and he shot at Moose and Midge. And uh Archie was on that boat like right away. He wanted to ride that train all the way to the end. He knew he's still connecting the crimes even after people are telling him it's not. But then we do get a letter of confirmation from Black Hood himself sent to the Coopers, obviously, because he knew that they would print it even before they took it to the sheriff or the mayor.
See, that's very Zodiac killer. Very, yeah, very, very Zodiac.
Yeah, so he's got his media coverage, and you know what's her freaking face, Miss Cooper. I don't know her first name because I hate her that much. Um, you know she's just gonna take it and run with it without permission.
Well, if they sent it directly to her, so it
Mm-hmm.
didn't go to the cops. It went to
No,
like let's send it to the
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 media.
newspaper. Yeah, the
Yep.
media.
So yeah, she did. She did end up taking it to the sheriff after already making it a freaking an article in that morning's newspaper. She already had it printed in the newspaper before she took it to the sheriff. And then he was like, she's like, too late, I already did it. And he's like, oh no. And then you see people reading the article, you see Archie reading the article, and that's when he really got on the train with like getting everybody together. Like he went to all of the football players and said, it could be your mother, it could be your sister, it could be this person, this person. We need to protect our town. I do commend him for trying to get like a watch group together, a neighborhood watch. But the way that he explained it was like, we're not doing a neighborhood watch. We are watching. Like this is our job to help and protect. Like he didn't say vigilantes, but that's where he
That's what they
was
are focused
going.
on.
That's the road he was going down. So like when Reggie stands up, he's like, "Oh, we're gonna do this," and like, and then they get together later, and Archie's like, "No weapons," but he brings his baseball bat, and then Reggie has his crowbars and freaking tire irons in his
I
back
know.
seat. It's like
It's like old school.
this is it's gone already gone way too far. They shouldn't be carrying that stuff around them. What are we gonna do after we beat him down? Oh, then we'll call the cops. It's fine. This guy has a gun, guys. You guys got tire irons and a baseball bat.
It's worse than you don't take a knife to a gunfight.
Yeah, definitely. But it seemed like their principal was on board with it.
Yeah, that was like super surprising. I was like, okay.
I thought Weatherby would have been one of the first people to be like, no, this isn't happening, especially on school grounds. But he's like, nah, it's a school club. They're allowed to do it. There's no way you can fight this, sheriff. It's like, what?
I'm thinking they're thinking that they're like neighborhood watch and not a bunch of kids ready to beat the crap out of someone.
Maybe. I kind of feel like Weatherby knows what's going on. He knows the depths of it.
Maybe he's all about it.
Yeah.
Maybe he thinks they need a vigilante.
I I don't know. Like I thought that really weird because I know the sheriff was really ragging on Archie in the hallway. And then Weatherby just steps up saying, yeah, it's a school club. So like that's even more, encouragement for Archie to do stupid things. He's already doing too many stupid things
He's the king of stupid things.
right now. Yeah, he really is. And then and then we saw Ethel this episode.
We thought it was gonna die.
I thought she was gonna die. Like that van coming for her, and then she's like, "Oh, he turned around and came back," and like she was scared, but nothing seemed to happen. Was it? I feel like it was kind of like a distraction, or just like maybe it was Black Hood messing with them, being like, "Haha, you can't catch me." But then I noticed on Reggie's car when, they turned around to find because they heard Ethel or they saw
She
Ethel.
called.
Yeah, she called them and they kind of like did like this turn around this bend and I saw on the rim above one of his wheels it said SS on Reggie's car. So it was his car is black and it was white SS. So I don't know what that means. Is Reggie originally from the South Side? Or does he just have a car he bought from somebody from the South Side? Or is
You
like
know he deals drugs, so
it,
you might have
that's
dealings with the
true.
South Side.
That's true. He does have the connections with the drugs and the jingle jangle. So, but for them to actually make that apparent in that one scene, I feel like it's bigger than just him dealing drugs.
He might be a serpent,
I
like
think he might be one.
under the wire serpent.
He might be like the eyes to see into Riverdale High kind of thing. I don't know.
Or was maybe he was Jughead's like watcher.
Maybe. Maybe he is, yeah, maybe he was Jughead's watcher and now he's just freelance because Jughead's going to Southside. He has many people watching him, especially Tony, who is incredibly cute, in my opinion. And Betty better watch out because, she knows way more about the Southside than Betty ever could think of. And she's very charming.
She is.
She's very
I
charming.
liked her.
Hmm.
She's got jokes.
She does have the jokes, and she seems to have a lot of pull, especially with her other students that are Southside Serpents. So I feel like she's higher on the totem pole, and for who knows what reason. But she's a photographer. Um, she's gonna help Jughead with the red and black, which is something. It's like a school paper. Oh boy, Jughead, you sure know how to, juggle up your options. You're very predictable.
Well, he wanted something to keep his, his self occupied.
Because, yeah, he
Um,
doesn't want to get involved with the serpents, but at the same time, like, he doesn't want to make friends and he doesn't want to be around the other people. So, like, newspaper makes the most sense because nobody else is interested in it. But he's doing exactly what he was told not to do, writing about the drugs and the gangs, which Mr.
no, didn't
Phillips,
they say that he could write about it? He just couldn't get involved.
no, Mr. Phillips said that the paper was basically canceled um, because of drugs and gangs, and that writing about drugs and gangs would be a bad idea. So he said not to do it.
Okay, I guess I missed that. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Um, so I think even Tony made a comment about it, but she was like, whatever, because he wanted her to be involved with the photographer position. And no, it was Betty who said it was a bad idea. And he's like, this is what we've been looking for. This is how we found out, like, how we connect the jingle jangle to Moose and Midge to the killer. And he went down this huge spree of things. And she was like, okay. And then that's when they started making out. He's like, are you scared for me? She's like, yeah. And then all of a sudden they're all over.
Well, it was cute, and they were like, because they were worried about each other. Blah blah
Hmm.
blah.
But Tony walks in. That was really an interesting introduction to each other. But Betty doesn't seem to feel threatened by Tony's presence at all.
When she pulled out the coffee, was it a coffee maker? So it looked like
It looked
coffee
like
pot.
it looked like a coffee pot, yeah.
She gave this look.
Well, they said great minds, and then they're both like, yeah. Like I feel like that was like almost like a connection, like oh, we're on the same wavelength. I don't
That's
know.
not what I saw. I saw this worry, like a worried look, like the music changed, and I don't know, it was just something happening.
I mean, I'm not worried. I think Betty and Jughead are cute, but I wouldn't peg them as the best couple.
I think we're gonna see some jealousy, some dark Betty jealousy coming
Oh,
in that situation.
they did joke about her BDSM this episode.
That was funny.
That was hilarious. Because, that was something Kevin went on. He was like, well, our situations are different. You're living in a pale pink milkshake world. And then Cheryl's like, except when you're Dark Betty. So that was, yeah, the jealousy I think is really going to come through.
Well, they're
I,
pointing out this whole dark Betty thing.
yeah,
Now this isn't the first. They've done it a couple episodes. So,
it's coming
and
back.
the article I read said that she was definitely gonna get darker.
And they
And
said
this one,
that
I think this
about
is where it's gonna play.
They said that about all the characters, actually, that all the characters are going to have a darker side this season, which
We're
really,
getting that out of Archie, and we're
oh,
getting that out of Kevin.
definitely. And Kevin's, it's a different kind of dark. It's more of it's not like menacing at all, but it is a darker part of him. Like he's definitely fighting demons.
He's got a problem. That's what they're saying.
Mhm.
And obviously, it's he's using sex as an acceptance
Mhm.
kind of thing.
Yeah. And gosh, Jughead just he seems less dark than he was at the beginning of the season. No.
He's trying very hard to stay away from certain things, and then he's
Mhm.
forced into it because for protection. Because it's like prison
Mhm.
when you have to team up with other groups, or the other groups will pick on you.
Yep. And that's exactly what happened. Like after this whole visit from Betty and Tony, and then once he's alone in the paper room, it's obviously after school hours, and he goes to leave and he gets jumped. We don't see by who, but he gets jumped and tells Betty it was a motorcycle accident. And I think that's when he realized that he needs to be with the serpents. Like you said, he has to join that group in order to have that outer shell, that armor, that protection from, well, what we assume right now is the ghoulies. But I almost feel like it was somebody he didn't recognize from the serpents trying to teach him a lesson.
Oh, get him to like force him to team to get into the group.
Yep.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
So here's another idea. So if Jughead gets more and more towards the serpents, what if he pulls Betty with him?
And that's where the darker side comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it's kind of in her genes, right?
I guess her mom was a Southside.
Yeah, her mom was from the south side, so I mean, I don't think it's far from what could happen. So that would explain the whole darker side thing. I think that's going to be really interesting if it goes that way. Poor Juggy. You're, yeah, poor Juggy.
I'm Team Jughead, so
I love
I'm
Jughead.
rooting for him.
I wish I had a beanie just like his. I would wear it everywhere.
They sell them.
I know they sell them. I just have to get my hands on them. Um, so I'm gonna just jump back to the Black Hood letter where he says that he's hunting down sinners, basically, and we actually get to see Polly this episode. Might not have been for long, but she was there and she was scared because her mom did open up a jar of worms when it came to the Black Hood. And if he's hunting sinners, she was right. She's like, I'm basically the big, neon sign. Here I am. I'm a sinner. She's like, I it wasn't her fault, but she's pregnant before married, which a lot of people consider as a sin, and she's pregnant with families, children. So she was like, I don't want to be here. I want to go back to the farm. She's running away. Right, Ash. You're right. She's exactly running away. But I don't blame her. Are you muted? Uh-oh. Lost Kim. There we
How
go.
the hell did that happen?
I don't.
How long have I been muted?
Uh,
Just now?
just for like I don't even think it was 30 seconds.
It muted itself.
How?
What is wrong with my computer? What are
What's wrong with
you
my computer?
doing? Oh my god. Okay. Anyway.
Polly?
Oh, I said that was this episode for Polly.
Yeah. Uh, I don't know. She's just gone now. I don't know. She looks pretty pregnant, so I don't know if the babies are coming soon or whatever. They didn't really say anything about that, but she's leaving Manoa stuff her parents. Like they don't want her to go, but she left anyways without saying goodbye. Only Betty knows. They obviously know where she's going, so I don't know if running away is the best thing because obviously people know where she's going. If Black Hood really wanted to off her, he could follow her. So I don't know.
There was a cat in here for a second. It was weird. I felt something rubbing against my. Oh my god, I'm done.
The spoops are everywhere. Um, I mean, I'm not sure what else other than like the basics that we covered. We always have an awkward dinner. Archie's always doing stupid things. Betty's always putting her nose in everybody's business.
We got an eyeful of the football team.
Oh yeah, that. Okay, here's a question. What do you think about Archie's video to Blackhood?
Did he post it on the internet? Is that I'm trying to figure out.
Doily was recording it to send to on the internet so that Blackhood could see it.
I don't know if it's going to cause more issues. I think it will
I think it will.
because this is obviously he's trying to gain attention by sending the letter, so that they're only fueling the flame.
Mm-hmm. And like his speech and how he got up in the camera at the very end. He started off as "We Are Legion" and then he took on like if anybody has seen the movie Taken and the father, the way he talks on the phone to the kidnappers, he kind of did that kind of speech into
I
the
will find
camera.
you and I will kill you.
Exactly. I will hunt you down. We will end you. It's like Archie, and then he got really close to the camera, so only his face was in focus, and then everybody else kind of.
Except the one guy got up like was like all like super like security like.
It really was too much, but um, I think we're gonna see the repercussions of a lot of that next episode, which is chapter 17, the town that dreaded sundown. When Archie's attempt to take matters into his own hands spirals out of control, Mayor McCoy calls an emergency town meeting to deal with the growing chaos in Riverdale. Meanwhile, when Betty finds herself at a center of deepening mystery, her decision to keep some parts of it from Jughead causes further friction between the two. Elsewhere, Veronica grows concerned for Archie when she realizes the lengths he would go to seek revenge against the person terrorizing Riverdale. Finally, tensions between the North and South Side finally come to head and leads to an unexpected showdown. So, uh-ohs. Lots of uh-ohs. I didn't watch the promo. I usually don't because the promos usually do spoil a lot. Just like watching trailers before going watching movies in the theater. So I do like the synopsis because it kind of leaves my brain to imagine and create up these scenarios. So I'm looking forward to next episode because it does seem like a lot of action's gonna happen. So,
Tim said that looks like there's gonna be some stuff going. I mean, we thought about it between Jughead and Betty.
mhm.
I like them. I just like Jughead, but
It's we like the Jughead of the equation.
yeah,
The Betty we could live without, but I mean right
they're
now
cute.
they're
They're
cute
cute.
together. Yeah. And I think that does it for this episode. Kim, where can the people find you?
On Twitter at HUFFITY
I think I forgot to play the music. I think I did.
Uh
Yep.
oh.
It's okay. Well, it's okay. We got it now. And you can find me also on Twitter at LadyVenom24, LadyVenom24, and you can find all of us and much more on ASOTV Podcast on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Google Plus, MySpace, and soon on Twitch, where we will be taking all of our live podcasts. And but we'll still be posting the VODs here, so here on YouTube, so you don't have to worry about that. And so, yep, that's our show, and thank you for joining us, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Yeah, see you again.